righty. You can close that out whenever you're finished, but we do appreciate you taking that. And thank you all for being here today. We want to start by thanking the Navy Child and Youth Programs for making today's webinar, Screen Time Trends and Tips, possible. We do always welcome our professionals who work with our military-connected children to our parent trainings, and we think that you'll find information and tips that we present useful, but just note that our MSEC parent webinars have been designed with parents as the target audience. So before we introduce ourselves, we want to share a little bit more about MSEC and MSEC's mission. MSEC is the Military Child Education Coalition, a nonprofit organization established over 25 years ago. And our mission is to support all military-connected children by educating, advocating, and collaborating to resolve some of those educational challenges that are associated with the military lifestyle. In 2005, MSEC formalized support and programming specifically for our military-connected parents so that they may be empowered, informed, and hopefully proactive in supporting their children's educational journey. So we strive to deliver these informative and hopefully interactive webinars that address academic, social, and emotional issues that are associated with our military lifestyle. Our vision is that every military-connected child is college, work, and life ready. So let me introduce myself. My name is Michelle Brashear. I am joining you today from beautiful, sunny Madison, Alabama, northern Alabama, just west of Huntsville, the Rocket City. When my husband retired a few years ago, just a few months under 30 years of active duty Army, we had moved 14 times and had two wonderful military-connected kids, each of whom attended more than 6 schools before they graduated high school. So I obviously have a heart for military-connected kids, and I have enjoyed working with MSEC since 2017. Yasmina.
Hi, my name is Yasmina Aragon, and I have been part of the MSEC since 2016. During this time, I have had the privilege of working in different departments, projects, and teams, which has helped me both grow professionally and personally. My husband is an active duty service member, and together we have navigated 19 years of the ever-changing military lifestyle. We have 2 teenagers currently in the 8th and 11th grade. And at the moment that we are stationed in Fort Sill, Oklahoma, and this is our 6th duty station. Now, a few important announcements that we would like to share with you before we continue. At the end of the webinar, we invite you to take a brief survey about today's presentation. It will only take 2 to 3 minutes, and we would really appreciate your feedback. Your input helps us demonstrate to our funders the impact that our work and guide us in refining our training opportunities to best serve the military-connected parents like you. During the webinar, you will see a chat box on your screen where you can ask questions and share comments. Please feel free to utilize this feature in Zoom. Also, you should see a PDF file in the chat box labeled Downloadable Resources. This file contains materials and information relevant to today's session. If you are joining us from your mobile device and you will not be able to download the resources, but please private message us your email and we will ensure that you receive them later today. This webinar is being recorded, and if you experience any technical difficulties or would like to review the material at a later time, you will have access to the recording. Thank you for being here, and let's get started. Screen time has become an unavoidable part of our daily lives. And for military families, it plays even a greater role. With frequent moves, deployments, and long-distance relationships, screens can provide children with a sense of stability and connection. However, finding the right balance is key to ensuring screen time remains a positive influence rather than a distraction. Today, we will explore current screen time trends, the impact that they have on children, and practical strategies for setting healthy boundaries. So these are our learning objectives for today, as you can see on your screen. We will identify screen time trends for children and youth. We will examine the effects of screen time, as well as explore different strategies and tips for healthy screen usage. Finally, we will share screen time options for military families. Now that we have covered the learning objectives, let's dive into the current trends in screen time and explore how it's changing the way kids interact with technology. Michelle?
Thank you. So let's start with some current screen time trends and how screen time consumption has changed over the last few years. So we have a question for you, and you can just put your answer in the chat box. How much screen time do you think your child gets daily? And you can include their phones and their computers, their laptops, anything. And if you don't want to say it, that's fine, but think about it, something to think about. How much do you think that they're on their phone every day? Those screen times has shifted dramatically in this last decade. When we understand these trends, it can help us make a more informed decisions about how we're using that technology at home. Kids today, of course, are spending more time on screens than ever before. According to the American Academy of Pediatrics, children and teens spend an average of 7 hours a day on screens. They're watching videos, playing games, or on social media. So this number has skyrocketed since COVID, with screen times increasing by 50%. Research shows that younger children are even starting to use screens at an earlier age. A recent study by Common Sense Media found that kids under the age of 2 spend over an hour every day on screens. This is actually a significant increase compared to previous years ago. This early exposure is largely due to the accessibility of screens right everywhere and wonderful child-friendly apps. So online videos like YouTube are particularly popular for our youth and our teens, viewing sites at an alarming rate. So almost 3/4, 75% of them watch them every day. Mostly they're watching TikTok, Instagram, and Snapchat, and to a much lesser degree, Facebook. But almost 20% say they're almost constantly on YouTube or TikTok, and 12% they're almost constantly on Snapchat or Instagram. And these figures are up like 25% from a decade ago. Screen time for homework has remained fairly static, for our school-age kids, although only 1% of their screen time is dedicated for schoolwork. So, they're working on their computer, but only 1% of that is for homework. Although TV viewing has gone down, you can probably guess that's because their gaming time has jumped almost 65% in that same time span. So in a report by Pew Research, more than half of our teenagers reported using screens or homework daily, but also almost half admitted to spending more than 5 hours a day on entertainment-related screen activities. It makes it hard for us parents because their dual role, right, of screens and learning and leisure. It makes it a challenge for us parents who want to encourage that educational screen time while limiting that non-educational usage. Our school-age kids spend an average of 5.5 hours a day on their screen, our littler ones, while our teens are looking at, again, a little bit more. Research have noticed that these hours for healthier homework is only about 1 to 4 hours of that time. So teenagers in particular are heavy screen users. Social media, streaming platforms, and online gaming contribute to high screen engagement among our teens. National Institute of Health found that almost 95% of teens have access to a smartphone. So almost all of them. Almost half say they use them almost constantly for social media, TikTok, Instagram, Snapchat. So these sites are actually designed to maximize engagement and keep kids, and frankly us adults, right, in front of the screen by continuously recommending new content. And these algorithms can lead to longer screen time without children or adults sometimes realizing exactly how much time that we're spending in front of those screens. So alarming, I think, statistics about how much time we're spending on screens, and our kids are. So let's kind of talk about something a little newer. Let's talk about AI. Can't talk about trends without mentioning the impact of AI content. So again, if you want to put something in the chat box, we would like to know, what are your thoughts about AI? Do you think it's a good thing? Do you think it's a little scary? Do you think I'm excited about it for your kids? But artificial intelligence is definitely shaping the way our kids are interacting with technology. It's influenced their education, entertainment, and even their social interactions. So this technology is evolving very rapidly and starting to influence our everyday lives more and more. In a Common Sense Media survey released last year, 2024, half of the people ages 14 to 22, so our older teens, at that time said they had actually used AI at some point. Considering that AI generated content is now a year later, even more accessible, that number of teens using AI is likely also increasing. Young people value artificial intelligence mostly for getting information, finding information, and then for brainstorming. So some of the statements that young people have shared about AI is the world is changing and AI is the future. So they sound very optimistic about it. For sure, AI can be a great educational tool when used thoughtfully, helping our children develop critical thinking and problem-solving skills. And according to, again, Common Sense Media, teens also said that they use AI for entertainment and on social media. For example, they use AI to modify their pictures to make themselves look better. Other teens said that they modify their appearance just to have fun, right? To see how different they can look with different things. One boy shared that teens are using AI to get around some parental passwords and look up stuff that they know they shouldn't be. So he was a rather honest young man. And the advice of the teens is that adults, parents, really do need to research more about what AI can do and talk with their kids about it to understand it a little bit more. Yasmina has some good news for us.
Yes, that's right. Not all screen time is bad. When we manage it well, it can actually support learning, social connection, and also stress relief. Let's talk about the learning benefits. There are many educational apps like PBS Kids, Sesame Street, there's virtual learning, and many creative activities like coding or digital art that can enhance learning and problem solving skills. Also, AI powered learning tools offer personalized experiences, help with kids, and where kids can improve in their math, their reading, and languages by adapting to their pace and focusing on areas of need. The digital creative tools, such as platforms for coding, digital art, and music, that encourage them to get more to get innovative and be able to do more problem solving. They can also explore new subjects from science and space to arts and crafts. Screens provide endless opportunities for learning. They can also provide the social connection because the screens helps kids connect with friends and family, especially those who move often, like as military families. Video calls and messaging provide emotional and help maintaining a strong parent-child relationships or in separations. We use it when my husband was in a tour to Korea. We constantly use video chatting so that he could be in touch with the kids. We have breakfast and dinner together with a screen on the table, and so that provide that strong connection with him. But it can also entertain and help us get that stress release. Platforms like YouTube, Instagram, even TikTok, or playing video games, they offer a way to manage to manage the stress, and it provides an easy way to decompress. A recent survey found that nearly 80% of teen gamers say that it helps them relax, with one in four using it to relieve stress. So as we can see, when we use it mindfully, screens can support social connections and the emotional well-being. And The last time that we moved, just really quick, the last time that we moved, my teenage daughter struggled with living behind her close friends. I mean, at a 15-year-old who wants to move, right? However, staying connected through video chats or social media made that transition easier for her, allowing her to maintain the friendships and feel supported during the move. And some of those friendships she still has even after 2 years that she left, where she's actually just planning on going and visit for graduation, some of her friends that are graduating this year. So for military connected children, screens play a crucial role in maintaining these relationships and the emotional well-being. As military families know, we relocate every 2 to 3 years, requiring kids to rebuild friendships and adjust to new environments. So staying connected through social media helps them maintain those friendships and feel supported. There's also online communities that provide a space for military teens, so that they can connect with peers who understand their unique challenges. And one of those is Military Teams, Bloom Empowering the Military Team. It is a platform that is designed for military kids to share experiences and find this support. If you have not discovered their webpage, I invite you to look at it. We will have the link on the chat so that you can take a look. It's a really nice platform for teenagers. Military families often live far from extended relatives, making video chats a valuable way to stay in touch across the time zones. Frequent deployments, training exercises, and other commitments can also be challenging, but messaging and video calls help children maintain those bonds with their parents. While screens offer these essential benefits, the key is ensuring a balanced and intentional use to support children's well-being. So let's talk about the potential downsides of too much screen time. While screens can offer some benefits, excessive use can also have a negative effect on kids. To begin with, studies show that too much screen time can impact attention spans and academic performance. The more time kids spend on screens, the harder it can be for them to focus on other tasks, like homework or even face-to-face conversations. Let's not forget about sleep. Studies have shown that excessive screen exposure, especially before time, disrupts sleep by affecting the melatonin production due to the blue light from our different devices. And as we know, good sleep is vital for a child's health, both physically and mentally. Also, too much screen time is also linked to increased anxiety, depression, and sleep problems in kids. Social media is a big factor here, particularly for teens. Issues like cyberbullying, risk behavior, and unhealthy comparisons, like we all know, they worrying about their looks or how many likes they're getting on that post, on that picture. All of these can contribute to mental health struggles and body image concerns. Spending hours on the screens also means that kids are sitting more and they being less active, which is linked to increasing rates of childhood obesity. On top of that, staring at screens for far too long can lead to vision issues like blurred vision, dry eyes, and even headaches. And if you have ever heard of the term tech neck, I didn't know about this term until recently, and that is when kids hunch or tilt their heads while using their phones, causing a neck or back pain. Another concern is the social isolation. Kids who spend too much time in the virtual world can disconnect from real life interactions, especially if they have just moved and they haven't made new friends yet. As humans, we need that connection. We need connection with other peers, and too much time online can lead to feelings of loneliness, even when they are interacting virtually. We know kids are more likely to develop tech-related habits because their brains are still developing. They are especially sensitive to social rewards. Again, like likes, or if they like to play video games, they get achievements, or they get more coins, or they get an incentive for playing more and more, which makes it harder for them to find a healthy balance. So while the screens have their benefits, it is important that we manage the screen time carefully to support our children's well-being. Now let's now explore the impact of AI on kids' digital experiences, on the potential challenges it brings. Michelle?
Yeah, thank you. So let's jump back into AI again. AI-driven content, as we talked a little bit about, it can be problematic. They mentioned those algorithms on social media and video platforms are designed specifically to engage, to maximize that engagement, to keep it going. Those algorithms keep suggesting content that, keeps them watching longer and longer. And this rabbit hole effect, which I'm sure that we all have been in before, can lead to binge watching and exposing our kids even to inappropriate content, and can pose a risk of internet addiction. So in a report by Common Sense Media, just released in January of this year, 2 in 5 teens said that they are aware of having seen images or videos that were real but misleading. Over a third said that they had been misled by fake content online. So one of the most significant AI advancements is in digital companionship. AI chatbots and virtual assistants such as ChatGPT and AI-powered tutors are becoming more interactive and human-like. So with these tools, they can be actually helpful for learning and problem solving. Some children may form emotional attachments to these programs, replacing that real life interaction that Yasmina was talking about with digital ones. It's those ones that are social isolating. So a Common Sense Media report just last year, over 25% of teens said they have wondered if they were actually talking to a chat box or were they communicating online with a real human. I think it's sometimes very hard to tell the difference. It's very essential to ensure that the AI usage enhances rather than replaces human relationships. So stay informed about how AI works and set those boundaries so that you can ensure that your children's digital experiences are safe and balanced. So to make AI work for your family, consider using artificial intelligence for learning, not just for entertainment. Applications like Duolingo, Khan Academy, and Dreambox adapt lessons to your child's strengths and weaknesses. So if there's something that that they have a weakness for, they'll continue to ask more about that. Something that they seem to already know, they won't ask as much questions about those things. So again, monitor that AI-driven content, be aware of what algorithms are recommending to your child, and then set parental controls. But do encourage critical thinking. Teach our kids to think, to question the reliability, like that one kid, of AI-generated content, and then cross-check information if they're not sure. So I'm going to put a couple AI-driven tools in the chat box. Some of the things recommended are Google Family Link, which allows parents to monitor screen time and set limits. A backup Bark, which is an AI-driven app that detects risky messages for parents and alerts them. And then Khan Academy Kids, which uses AI to adapt to learning activities for kids' needs. And then YouTube Kids with AI filters. And that can ensure that the content is age appropriate with using AI filters. Just put those in the chat box. So by understanding a little bit about how AI works, you can help you have more informed decisions and the role that's playing in your life and in their life. So we all talked about concerns a little later. The National Military Family Association partnered with Bloom, the organization that Yolanda talked about. Yasmina, I'm sorry, empowering the military teen to better understand the experience of America's military teens. So we measured the well-being of the military teens 13 and up, while most of the teens who completed this survey indicated that they had a moderate level of well-being. Only 9% said that they had reported high levels of well-being. Troublingly, 28% or over 25% scored low on mental well-being. And of those, 37% responded that they had actually thought about harming themselves or others. So what are things that you need to look for as a parent? How long is your child in front of the screen? Is it most of the time? Are they on their phone or on their computer most of the time? Do you notice a change in their mood? When you talk to them, do they display a heightened irritability? Or do they have what you are noticing, increased mood swings? Have they become more isolated from their friends and outside activities and replacing their phone or their computer? So their relationships, maybe work, extracurricular activities, or their grades have been affected by those screens. And have their daily activities been affected? We talked about sleep habits. Are they complaining that they're tired all the time? Are they taking care of their personal hygiene as they did? And are they spending most of the time in their room on their screens? If you observe that your child is spending all their free time in front of a screen and they display, some of those behaviors, just trust yourself. Talk to your child about their screen consumption. Reinforce the idea that they can always come to you or another trusted adult if they feel like they need help. They're out of control. And don't hesitate to reach out to a counselor or your child's pediatrician to see, is this something I need to be concerned about? Yes, Mina?
So I know that many of us have asked ourselves, is screen time really harmful for my child? The answer is a bit more complicated than a simple yes or no. According to a recent report from the National Academies, social media doesn't always lead to negative health outcomes in teens. Essentially, social media isn't universally bad for all kids. It depends on the individual and how they use it. What really matters is the quality on screen time, not just how many hours our kids spend on their devices. So labeling all screen time as the same misses the nuances of how kids engage with their screens. There are 4 key types of screen time. Passive, basically, is just watching videos or scrolling through our feeds. And then we have interactive, like playing games. The social usage, like video chatting, social media, messaging, and last is the content creation, when we are making digital art, music, videos, or even coding. For example, mindlessly watching videos isn't the same as having meaningful video chat with a deployed parent or staying in touch with friends who had moved away. When thinking about your child's screen time, some questions that we can ask is, how are they using social media? Is it a positive experience? Are they connecting with friends and family in healthy ways? Is there a balance between screen time and face-to-face activities? So see, it's all about context and how they are using their time. But nobody knows your child better than you. So when considering their screen time, think about their behavior during and after they're using it. Are they engaged with positive age-appropriate content? Or is there a balance in between screen time and other activities, including face-to-face interactions with their friends, with their peers, with the family? Kids often use social media for connection, especially after a move, but it's important to check for many negative effects. Ask about their experiences with different apps. You can ask them, do you feel sad or anxious when you're online? What causes you to feel that way? Or what do you like or dislike about being online? What would you do if you were not on social media or gaming? If they are struggling, help them set time limits, unfollow negative accounts, or find offline ways to connect with friends or with family. It's all about guiding them toward a healthy relationship with the screens. Now, let's hear from Dr. Lisa Damour. She's a psychologist, a mother, and a best-selling author, and she shares 3 strategies to help our children maintain a healthy balance with screen time. So let's take a moment to watch this helpful video.
It's not always easy for kids to manage how much time they're spending on screens, especially when they're engaged with social media or video games, as these are engineered to make it very hard for teens to pull away. I'm Dr. Lisa Damour, psychologist, author, and mom. Here are 3 things adults can do to help teens find a healthy balance on how much time they spend on digital devices. Number 1, be curious about how your teen feels about technology. Teens rely on screens for all sorts of things, from watching documentaries, to learning from how-to videos, to interacting with their friends. Conversations with teens about how they use their devices are almost always more successful when we start from a place of curiosity. Find out what your teen enjoys about using tech and what they don't like so much. Ask them to reflect on how different digital activities make them feel. Doing so will bring you and your teen closer and help you talk together about setting limits that will help your teen to have the best possible experience. 2, don't let time spent on screens replace other activities. Rather than being against your teen using screens, be for your teen engaging in activities that support healthy development. Teens who are spending plenty of time focused on their schoolwork, enjoying in-person interactions, helping out around the house or the community, and being physically active tend to have the healthiest, most balanced relationships with screens. 3, model healthy screen use. Teens pay attention to what adults do at least as much as they listen to what we say. Adopting healthy screen use habits for yourself will help your teen to do the same, and it will make it easier for you to enforce your screen time rules. For example, you can say to your teen, "I don't keep technology in my room overnight because it gets in the way of sleep, which is important for my physical health and my mental health. Having the same rule for you as I do for myself is an important part of how I take care of you." Here's to you, your teenager, and to healthy screen use.
I think it's nice that she is a mom, and so she's coming from that angle as well. But yeah, some really good ideas there. So let's talk about maybe some age appropriate limits. And we're going to ask you, we thought a little bit about before, how much is your child on the screen? And we're going to ask you now, have you set limits at home, and is it working for you or not working for you? And if you want to put that in the chat box, that would be great. So how can parents set boundaries without those constant battles over screen time? That the American Academy of Pediatrics recommends the following guidelines. So for our little ones under 18 months, really want to avoid screens, except for those video calls, maybe with grandparents or a deployed parent to keep in touch. But otherwise, that's pretty small to be on a screen. For ages 2 to 5, they recommend limiting use to 1 hour per day of high quality programming, and maybe on the weekends up to 3 hours. It's also recommended whenever they're on the screen that a parent should be with them to help them understand what it is they're seeing and apply what they're doing to the real world. Or when they're playing a game, help them understand, what it is that they're doing in that game. For ages 6 and up, the American Academy of Pediatrics doesn't really give a specific amount of time, but rather leaves it up to their parents to decide on how often children should use a screen for entertainment. So just as a parent, you want to set those consistent limits, ensuring that their screen time doesn't interfere with their sleep, their exercise, or family time, finding that balance. And as we mentioned, those AI-driven algorithms can personalize the content, making it difficult for children and teens to self-regulate their own usage. So for all age groups, we want to try to prioritize those educational and interactive content over that passive viewing that Yasmina mentioned before, just scrolling or watching videos. So we're going to share some practical tips to help screen time be more positive and helpful. Common Sense Media has several recommendations on creating healthy habits. So first of all, be aware and supervise, even the older ones. So pay attention and take interest in what they're doing online. Familiarize yourself with what they're using and make sure that the content is age appropriate. It's very difficult as a parent, but try not to be judgmental about what they're doing online. But as the video said, show curiosity and interest so that they may be more likely to share what it is that they're doing and looking at. If they have a particular app that they want, that they really like to use, ask to set it up an account for you on your phone and show you how to use it. That way you can ask questions and, maybe learn a little bit about what it is that they're doing, and don't be afraid of that learning curve, which tends to be a lot steeper for us parents. Help them recognize their screen time habits. Again, try to reserve judgment about their habits and instead have a conversation about what screen time looks like. Like, what are some of your habits? Do you think that your habits are getting in the way of other things? Even just spending time with the family. Are there habits that, we should look at trying to change? Why or why not? Why do you think not? And when should you take breaks from your phone? And that leads us into creating those media-free zones. So consider creating those media-free zones in your home, particularly, as mentioned, in your bedroom. Children should recharge their devices overnight outside the bedroom so they can have a more restful night. A study by the National Sleep Foundation found that families who removed the screens from the bedroom helped improve sleep quality and have a better parent-child interactions overall. So avoid exposure to screens or devices about 1 hour before bedtime, and also consider making that dining room table a media-free zone. Making mealtime screen-free encourages that conversation and strengthens those family bonds without the distractions. Also, consider if you want to make the car a screen-free zone. Children get busier as they get older, and sometimes riding in the car is one of the few times we have to talk with them during our busy days. So I know when even my grown children, when I'm in the car with them, I try to get them to drive so they can't be looking at their phone. So I think they've caught on, but still doing it. So you want to try to designate that unplugged time. Like maybe you have a Friday family game night. So some families dedicate, 1 night a week to just spending time together. So they may limit media to only the weekends or just establish a media-free day. If that won't work for your family, consider some media-free hours. So maybe Saturday or Sunday afternoon where nobody uses a screen time, uses screens. And those are for activities that you can do together. So it forces our kids to do something other than being entertained by their screen. And Yasmin has some more.
You can also make a screen time a shared activity. Instead of using the screens alone, why not enjoy them together? I have a friend who plays Pokemon Go with both her kids as a family, and they use the screens that way. Try something like digital storytelling, making home videos, or even playing online games as a family. The goal is to have fun, bond, and talk about what you are watching or playing. Watching educational videos, playing a game, or checking out some age-appropriate content together gives you a chance to help your child make better media choices. And it is also a great time to chat about things like online safety, how advertising affects us, all those pop-ups that come when you're watching videos and talk about them. And it's also a good time to talk about the difference between just watching something and interacting with it. One of the best ways to help kids develop healthy screen habits is for adults to set a good example. And sometimes this could be a hard one. We know that children, especially younger ones, learn by observing parents. So researchers have shown that kids are more likely to copy both positive and negative screen habits from adults. If a child sees adults constantly scrolling on their phones, answering emails during meals, or watching TV late into the night, they will see that these behaviors are normal. But when parents show a balanced and mindful approach to screen use, children are more likely to adopt those same habits. Demonstrating good screen habits also teaches kids how to regulate themselves. When parents set clear boundaries, like no devices during meals or putting phones away during before bedtime, children are more likely to follow. This helps them understand that screen time should be intentional, not just a habit. It is also important to set consistent limits. Be clear on how much entertainment media is okay for each child and stick to those rules. Every child is different. The age difference between your kids can also help you set those rules. Be clear on how much entertainment media is okay for each child and stick to those rules. For example, no screen time while doing homework. Make sure all caregivers are on the same page so the rules stay consistent. I know this one is a really hard one in my house because a lot of times it's just like, well, I'm just listening to music. And while I leave the room, well, I don't know what's going to happen. Are they going to be watching something else instead of just listening to music? So it's all about being consistent with them. And while there may be times like during deployments or PCS when you need to be a little bit more flexible with the rules, the key is to get back to the guidelines as soon as possible. And there's also a family media plan. Consider creating a family media plan to put everything we have covered into action. This plan can include guidelines on screen time limits, screen-free zones, and other strategies we have explored, all laid out in a way that everyone in the family can follow, and you can even print it and put it in your family room. The American Academy of Pediatrics has created an interactive family media plan that helps you consider the health, education, and entertainment needs of each child, as well as the entire family. So let's watch a short video from the American Academy of Pediatrics and on how to create a family media plan.
What is media? It's television, smartphones, video games, apps, social media, smart speakers, and any other technology connected to the internet, whether at home or at school. A family media plan is a personalized agreement that can help your family find balance, both online and off. The plan provides age-based tips to help you communicate about media and resources to make the plan work for your family. To create your plan, simply start by entering some information about your family. Next, select from a list of 8 specific priorities that matter most to you and your family. You can choose them all or just a few. Then, save your plan and refer to it whenever you need to. Get started today.
So when creating a media plan, I invite you to involve your kids in the process. This helps them learn self-regulation and gives them also a voice in choosing the shows or apps that they enjoy. When children have a say, they are more likely to stick to the plan. Now let's look at some screen-free times with Michelle.
That's a very good point, because you want them to, if they're signed on and then they're involved in it, then they're more apt to follow it. So let's look at some screen-free tips. It might be very obvious to us all, but there are a lot of times when our kids go to screens when they have nothing else to do. So they're just bored, right? Together with your kids, come up with a list of activities that they really do like to do when they're not on the screen. So that way, when screen time is over and the child has to do something else, they're choosing from a list of their own ideas of things that they have picked out together with you, and not simply just things that you're telling them to do. So for our older kids, definitely ask them what it is that they like to do. Do they have hobbies or a topic that interests them? Maybe they want to learn how to decorate cakes, then maybe sign them up for a cake decorating class. I know a lot of Michael's has things like that. Encourage them to explore their interest and then gain competence by volunteering or maybe even working part-time, something other than that screen time. So one of the things we advise you to do is check out the Child and Youth Services offering or the Teen Rec Center on the nearest based near you and reach out to that installation volunteer coordinator for volunteer opportunities as well. Now, our younger kids, set up a play space for them. They are particularly important for them to have that unstructured playtime where they can simply just use their imagination to play with toys or even without toys. So an imaginative play is one of the main ways that our younger ones learn about themselves and the world around them. So it's critical for their healthy development. Some families even designate a table or a small area in the house where the children can build, explore, experiment, draw or craft. And children can even use everyday household items like buttons or strings or scraps of fabric to create things. I know, and I think, Yasmin, we talked about this, empty moving boxes, since we're moving so very frequently, often become castles or tunnels or imaginary characters. And, when you're moving, they're free. They're right there. Reading books or listening to stories or podcasts is another way to support healthy brain development. But Common Sense Media reports that only a third of our tweens, the younger teens, say that they're reading for pleasure, and only 1 in 5 of our teens say that they're reading for pleasure every day. So I think, that is probably going down. But reading, it helps build language and listening skills in our kids. It helps teach empathy, builds memory and problem-solving skills. So our teens not only benefit by improving their vocabulary and comprehensive skills, but by reading and listening to stories, it introduces them to different perspectives and different life experiences. Over the summer months, many libraries offer their summer reading programs, which encourages kids to read a variety of books. So the DODS MWR libraries, which are on a military basis, have their yearly summer reading program on military installations worldwide. And for the summer of 2025 coming up, the DODS MWR summer reading program throughout all services and bases is called Level Up at Your Library. It's an all ages summer reading program based on puzzles and games. So participants can even earn incentives by reaching reading and activity goals. So it's a great way to get your kid involved off of a screen for at least a little while. So also let your children participate in those day-to-day household activities. We mentioned that hands-on learning cannot replace something that, you're watching on YouTube. Chores sometimes can have a negative connotation, but activities like cooking or even doing the laundry help teach kids responsibility, and it's a necessary life skill. So a fun activity is for younger children is maybe give them a spray bottle with just a little bit of water and a rag and let them, help with dusting or wiping off tables or smudges on the door so they can be a big helper. Make sure you give your kids, maybe their own area of responsibility. That can be helping in the garden, maybe one room of the house, their room, or even taking care of a pet. Another way, is to encourage your child to help others. That can be in a more formal capacity by joining the Scouts or volunteering in the community, or informally by helping the next door neighbor with, lawn mowing or unpacking boxes. So we've already talked about earlier how kids need to learn to delay gratification. So encourage children to finish their responsibilities before they turn to their screens. So when children and teens master those tasks, it does build their confidence, and their confidence to building block for that confidence. And both confidence and confidence are essential in fostering resiliency in our children, and that's a very important thing for our military children. So, and then we want to prioritize those face-to-face interactions. In a digital world, it's so easy to get lost in the screens and forget the importance of real-world connections. So make a conscious effort to prioritize those face-to-face conversations, even over digital interactions, especially if you just moved to a new duty station. So encourage your child to participate in activities, join a club, a team, a band, whatever it is that they're into, so they can connect with peers at their new duty station. So the goal, remember, isn't to eliminate screen time altogether, impossible, but we want to create a healthy balance. So screens can be a great tool for learning and connection, again, especially for our military families. However, setting boundaries and encouraging positive digital habits is crucial. By choosing more quality content, setting limits, being aware of AI's role in screen use, parents can help their children develop that healthy relationship with technology. So by being intentional with screen use, parents can create a digital environment that's supporting their child's well-being while adapting to all the realities of our military life. And I'm going to turn it over to Yasmin again.
Well, thank you all for joining us today. We would like to invite you to share your feedback by completing our survey. You can click the survey link in the chat box on your screen or use the QR code on our slide. Just use your smartphone camera, hold it up to the code, and the link will appear. Once that you are in the survey, click on Webinar Survey and enter the 4-digit webinar number, which is for today's webinar is 4525. Please be sure to hit submit at the end of the survey. If you don't complete the survey now, you will receive an email invitation to participate afterward. Remember that your feedback is essential in helping us make ongoing improvements to our webinar series, introduce new content, and provide important information to our funders. We truly appreciate you taking the 2 to 3 minutes needed to share your feedback. We also invite you to explore SchoolQuest. It is an online interactive tool designed to support highly mobile military families and students. It offers a wealth resource of tips to help students achieve academic success and well-being. Sign up today is completely free. And do you have any questions, concerns, or educational related issues regarding your military connected children? Our military student consultants, or MSCs, are here to provide one-on-one support for all your questions. To get in touch with a military student consultant, simply email at msc@militarychild.org. And the Wellbeing Toolkit was created for parents, school professionals, behavioral and mental health professionals, and community leaders. It is filled with resources for every aspect of the military connected child's well-being. We encourage you to explore it on our website and share it with others. If you miss any of our previous webinars, or if you would like to share this session, you can find the recordings on our website at militarychild.org or in YouTube. Also, don't miss this fantastic opportunity for MSEC student-to-student teams and all other peer-to-peer student transitions teams from around the world. It's a network to collaborate with each other at the 2025 MSEC Global Training Summit. You will find the link in the chat box too. MSEC is honored to partner with Columbia Southern University to provide the Military Child Education Coalition Heroic Hearts Scholarship to a member of the military caregiving population. Caregiving youth are the children and young adults up to age 18 who are actively involved in or currently impacted by the care needs of a wounded, ill, or injured service member. MSEC supports all military-connected children by educating, advocating, and collaborating to resolve education challenges associated with the military lifestyle. The MSEC Call for the Arts program invites military-connected children from all over the world representing every branch of service to share their own interpretation through art of what it means to be a military-connected child. The deadline to submit is April 30th, and for more information, please scan the QR code or click on the link in the chat. We are excited to announce that our webinar is designed for our Spanish-speaking military community. Please join Mariela and me on the last Thursday of each month for these special presentations funded by HEB. Like our other webinars, they will begin at noon Eastern Time. El webinario en español para este mes es efectos de las constantes mudanzas en los hijos de familias militares. Also, in partnership with Lockheed Martin Space, MSEC is highlighting STEM careers with a series of 5 one-hour virtual sessions. Topics include agriculture, health science, business administration, cybersecurity, artificial intelligence, and engineering. I know yesterday was the engineering one, and my daughter had a blast with that one. The next session is on April 28th from 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern Time, and we'll focus on business administration, so don't miss it. Finally, if you are interested in obtaining a certificate of completion, please complete the online survey and contact research@militarychild.org. Please join us for our upcoming webinars. Tomorrow, Wednesday, April 2nd, 2025, we will offer effective listening. And on Thursday, April 8th, 2025, music and the military child. Registration links are in the chat box, so please remember that all of our webinars start at 12 noon Eastern Time. We would like to give a special thanks to Navy Child and Youth Programs for making today's webinar possible. Thank you all for your interest and participation. Michelle and I will stay for a few more minutes. If you have any questions, please feel free to type them in the chat box. And thank you all for joining us today.